They were all dead. The final gunshot was an exclamation mark to everything that had led to this point. I released my finger from the trigger, and then it was over.
Welcome back to GameVault HQ. Today we're diving into one of the most iconic, gritty, and heartbreaking stories in gaming history. If you've ever felt like a story could punch you right in the gut, Max Payne delivers that and more. Let's recap the dark, emotional journey of Max Payne, a man haunted by his past and driven by a relentless need for vengeance. Grab a coffee, dim the lights, and get ready as we head down the shadowy alleyways of New York City. This is the story of Max Payne, Part 1, The American Dream. Prologue, the night it all fell apart. The story begins with Max Payne, an NYPD officer arriving home to a nightmare. It's a cold New York night, and the house is eerily silent. The walls are painted with shadows, and every creak of the floorboards echoes through the empty halls. As Max explores, the tension mounts until he finds his wife, Michelle, and their baby daughter brutally murdered by junkies high on a mysterious drug called Valkyr. The scene is horrific. Blood stains the walls, and the cries of his family still seem to linger in the air. The horrifying discovery shatters Max's world. His family is gone, and his life is consumed by the need for justice or vengeance. This moment marks the end of everything Max once knew and the beginning of his descent into darkness. Chapter 1, Roscoe Street Station. 3 years later, Max has joined the DEA and is working undercover to infiltrate the Punchinello crime family, believed to be behind Valkyr. The once optimistic cop is now a hardened man, his eyes filled with a cold determination. He receives a call from his friend Alex, who has a lead on the case. They arrange to meet at Roscoe Street Station. The station is dimly lit, the flickering lights casting eerie shadows across the deserted platforms. However, the meeting takes a tragic turn when Alex is murdered before Max's eyes, and Max is framed for the crime. The shock of seeing his friend gunned down is a heavy blow, and Max barely has time to process it before he realizes he's now being hunted. Now alone, Max is pursued by both the police and the mafia, with nowhere to turn. The death of his friend serves as a catalyst, pushing Max deeper into a dark journey of revenge, and his only objective now is to find those responsible. Every step he takes is shadowed by the weight of his losses, and the darkness of the city seems to mirror his own despair. Chapter 2. Live from the crime scene. Max continues his pursuit of the truth, following the trail left by those responsible for his friend's death. He moves deeper into the city's underbelly, encountering more members of the Punchinello crime family. The crime scenes are chaotic and brutal, filled with the aftermath of violence. Max is relentless, driven by his desire for vengeance, and each clue he uncovers only draws him deeper into a world of corruption and deceit. The city feels like it's closing in on him, with every corner hiding more secrets and enemies. Chapter 3, Playing at Bogart. Max heads to the heart of darkness, a sleazy hotel run by the Punchinello crime family, to track down Jack Lupino, a high-ranking mob boss involved with Valkyr. The hotel is filled with mobsters, drugs, and violence. Max fights his way through, uncovering Lupino's descent into madness, fueled by Valkyr and dark rituals. Max's journey through the heart of darkness is a twisted reflection of his own mind, chaotic, violent, and hopeless. The deeper Max goes, the more he realizes that he is no longer just a cop. He's become part of the very darkness he's trying to fight. Chapter 4, The Blood Veins of New York. Max escapes his captors, fighting through a barrage of armed thugs. He begins to unravel a broader conspiracy, learning that the Punchinello crime family is merely a pawn. The real power lies with Nicole Horn, CEO of Aesir Corporation. Max discovers Valkyr was part of a secret government experiment called Project Valhalla. The deeper he goes, the more he realizes he's up against not just the mob, but a powerful corporation with limitless resources. This revelation transforms Max's mission. It's no longer just about revenge, it's about exposing a massive cover-up and stopping a dangerous conspiracy. Chapter 5, Let the Gun Do the Talking. Max heads to Lupino's tenement buildings, facing numerous thugs and Valkyr junkies. He finds a letter from Vinny Gognitti, revealing tensions between the Punchinello family and the Russians. Max's relentless pursuit of Lupino showcases his determination to take down those responsible, regardless of the cost. The brutality of the encounters underscores how far Max is willing to go, and how much he has changed since the night his family was taken from him. Chapter 6, fear that gives men wings. Max chases Vinnie Gognitti across New York's rooftops, navigating dangerous terrain. The relentless chase highlights Max's unyielding determination, despite the constant danger. He eventually corners Gognitti and decides to use him to gather more information about the Punchinello family. This chase not only emphasizes Max's physical prowess, but also his resourcefulness. He's willing to use anyone to get closer to the truth. Chapter 7. Police Brutality. Now a wanted man, Max is pursued by both the mafia and law enforcement. The streets of New York are alive with flashing lights and blaring sirens, creating an atmosphere of constant tension. The sense of isolation is palpable. Max has no allies left, but his resolve remains unbroken. He is caught between two forces, and his survival hinges on his ability to stay one step ahead, using his knowledge of the streets and his skills as a former cop. Chapter 8. Ragnarok. Max's investigation brings him to Ragnarok, a seedy nightclub owned by Jack Lupino, a high-ranking member of the Punchinello crime family. The club serves as a front for Lupino's illicit activities, and Max knows that taking down Lupino is crucial to getting closer to the heart of the conspiracy. Ragnarok is crawling with armed thugs, but Max, driven by his need for revenge, fights his way through the club. Amid the pounding music and flashing lights, he carves a path of destruction, gunning down Lupino's loyal followers. The deeper he goes, the more he sees how Lupino has succumbed to madness, his mind twisted by the drug Valkyr. Max eventually confronts Lupino, who is completely deranged, rambling about dark forces and hallucinations. In a brutal showdown, Max kills Lupino, taking another step towards uncovering the truth behind his family's murder. After the confrontation, Max runs into Mona Sax, a mysterious woman with her own motives. Mona reveals that she is seeking revenge against Angelo Punchinello, the mafia boss responsible for her sister's death. Mona offers Max a drink while sharing valuable information about the criminal underworld, but it turns out to be a trap. She drugs him, leaving him unconscious. Max's capture marks a low point, emphasizing just how dangerous and deceptive his new allies can be. Part 2. A Cold Day in Hell. Prologue. The Nightmare. Max is haunted by nightmares, his mind filled with images of his family's murder. The nightmare sequences are disorienting and surreal, reflecting Max's fractured mental state. These nightmares are a manifestation of his guilt and his inability to let go of the past, showing how deeply the trauma has affected him. Chapter 1. The Baseball Bat. Captured by the mafia, Max escapes a warehouse, using sheer determination and a baseball bat to fight his way out. He is a man with nothing left to lose. The raw brutality of this escape underscores Max's transformation. He is no longer just fighting for revenge, he's fighting for survival. Chapter 2. An Offer You Can't Refuse. Max forms an uneasy alliance with Vladimir Lem, a Russian mobster. Vladimir helps Max take down the Punchinello crime family in exchange for assistance in his own pursuits. This alliance is a means to an end for Max. He knows he can't do it alone, and he's willing to work with the devil if it means getting closer to Horn. Vladimir supplies Max with weapons and resources, significantly aiding his fight against the Punchinello crime family. This partnership underscores the theme of uneasy alliances in Max's quest for vengeance. Chapter 3. With Rats and Oily Water. Max and Vladimir work together to take down the Punchinello crime family at a derelict shipyard. The mission is tense, but it brings Max closer to his ultimate goal. The partnership with Vladimir is uneasy, filled with mutual distrust, but it is necessary for Max to continue his pursuit of justice. The shipyard itself is a grim setting with rusting containers, oil-slicked water, and the constant creak of metal echoing through the night. The environment feels like a reflection of Max's own mental state, worn down, dirty, but with a sense of purpose. As they make their way through the shipyard, Max faces waves of thugs and must rely on Vladimir's resources to survive. The tension between the two is palpable, but they share a common enemy. And for now, that's enough. Each encounter brings Max closer to unraveling the conspiracy, and despite the distrust, he knows he can't afford to turn down any help if he wants to bring those responsible to justice. The successful takeover of the Karen, the derelict cargo ship, marks a significant advancement in Max's relentless pursuit of justice. Chapter 4. Put out my flames with gasoline. Max fights through a burning building, pushing forward despite the danger. The imagery mirrors Max's inner turmoil, consumed by his desire for vengeance. The flames represent both the destruction around him and the fire that burns within him, unstoppable and all-consuming. Chapter 5. Angel of Death. Max confronts Don Punchinello, but Nicole Horn's men arrive and kill the Don. Before they can finish Max off, they inject him with Valkyr, leading to intense hallucinations. Despite this, Max manages to escape, determined to bring Horn to justice. The confrontation with Punchinello is a critical turning point. Max realizes that Horn is the true mastermind, and his quest for vengeance takes on new urgency. The hallucinations are a testament to Max's resilience and his ability to push through even the most overwhelming odds. Part 3. A bit closer to heaven. Prologue. The drug trip. Max is haunted by visions of his family's murder. The drug trip sequences reflect Max's fractured mental state. These sequences blur the line between reality and hallucination, showing just how far Max has descended into his own personal hell. Chapter 1. Take Me to Cold Steel. Max tracks Horn to the Cold Steel foundry, where Valkyr is being produced. In a final act of defiance, Max destroys the facility, knowing this is just one battle in a larger war. The destruction of the foundry is a symbolic victory. Max is tearing down the infrastructure of corruption, one piece at a time. Chapter 2. Hidden Truths. Max learns about the Inner Circle and their involvement in the events. The corruption runs deeper than he imagined, but Max is determined to bring those responsible to justice. Alfred Woden, a high-ranking member of the Inner Circle, offers Max assistance in exchange for eliminating Nicole Horn, revealing the complex web of power and corruption Max is entangled in. This revelation deepens the story, showing that the conspiracy is far more extensive than Max originally thought. Chapter 3. The Deep Six. Max fights his way through an underground facility facing numerous enemies. The journey is treacherous, but Max's determination is unwavering. He is willing to go to any lengths to uncover the truth and bring an end to the conspiracy. Chapter 4. Backstabbing Bastard. Betrayed by someone he trusted, Max fights for his life. Despite the betrayal, his resolve remains intact. This betrayal is another reminder that Max cannot trust anyone. He is truly alone in his mission, and the only person he can rely on is himself. Chapter 5. In the Land of the Blind. Max heads to the Aesir Corporation's headquarters, a fortress filled with high-tech security. He fights his way through, determined to confront Nicole Horn. The sleek, sterile environment of the headquarters is a stark contrast to the grimy streets Max is used to, highlighting the disparity between the powerful elite and the world they manipulate. Chapter 6. Byzantine Power Game. Max learns more about the Inner Circle's influence. Taking down Horn won't end the corruption, but it will deal a significant blow. This chapter highlights the complexity of the conspiracy. It's not just about taking down one person, but about dismantling an entire system of power. Chapter 7. No Thing to Lose. Max's final confrontation with Nicole Horn takes place on the rooftop of Aesir's headquarters. In a chaotic battle, Max shoots down Horn's helicopter, ending her reign. During this confrontation, Max uncovers Horn's plan to use Valkyr for mass control, a revelation that adds a new layer to her villainy. The storm finally begins to subside, mirroring the chaos in Max's life coming to an end. This moment is both triumphant and hollow. Max has achieved his goal, but at a great personal cost. Chapter 8. Pain and Suffering. The police arrive and Max is taken into custody. Alfred Woden, a member of the Inner Circle, ensures Max's release. As Max is led away, he looks out over the city, still filled with corruption, but now a place where he has taken his revenge. The pain is still there, but so is the resolve to keep moving forward. Max's journey ends with a sense of closure, but also the understanding that his fight against corruption is far from over. And that wraps up our recap of the Max Payne story. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite games. Let us know in the comments, what's your favorite Max Payne moment? Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.